I see people from Brazil here asking some questions already. Please drop me a message if you hear me well. Audio is good. Okay. Thank you, chat. Excellent. Great. So let's start. I will start to share presentation slides, and then we will go into GeoPard application. It will be more or less flexible sessions that you can ask questions. Also, I will try to, from time to time, to take a look at your questions in the chat in Zoom. And yeah, in general, it's our first attempt to make this kind of session presentation, and I hope you will enjoy it together with us. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay, screen shared. Here we go. So in GeoPard, we built data analytics for precision agriculture. We all work in the business of precision agriculture, and you probably know better than me that there are zones, fields with various heterogeneity level, productivity level, and with help of modern technology, we can really manage it. There are modern GPS tools, variable rate fertilizers, variable rate seeders, some great hardware, software, etc., and through the whole agricultural season, it's possible really to use data for the help to make your farming operations or farming operations of your clients more efficient, first of all, economically efficient, because agriculture is a business, first of all. And then we talk about sustainability. Sustainability is also a huge topic and a very big trend. And this all, what we're doing here in precision agriculture is very, very compatible, and very, very sustainable. It sounds a little bit like a joke, but it's a reality. Sustainable agriculture and precision agriculture, it's really one of the first industries in the world, which is like #1 in sustainability, #1 in usage of big data analytics, starting from 2000s. And what we built in GeoPard, idea of GeoPard that we built complex solution. It's not an easy application. It's complex, automated, novel solution, which allows to analyze various data layers, like satellite imagery, data from machinery as applied, as planted data sets, data from soil information from soil scanners, companies like Soil Optics or GeoProspectors and some other sensors. They do great jobs there. Also data from soil sampling laboratories like zonal soil sampling, grid soil sampling. Topography is very important data layer in agriculture because you have sometimes very complex fields with complex topography, and depending on your microrelief, it is important also to manage and to adjust your agronomic operation. And novel technologies like drone imagery are common, and other satellite imagery types and providers are also developing all the time, and we are trying to catch up with all of them, and working. Okay. Hello to Canada, hello to Giuseppe. Hi everybody, one more time. I'm sorry for this interruption. Yes, and when GeoPard built a solution which is capable, first of all, to aggregate all this data, get it from publicly available data sources. For example, for satellite imagery, we work with Planet Labs, work with Landsat imagery from USGS, Sentinel, European Space Agency. Starting from this year, we'll also start to work with Airbus and their constellations like Pleiades, 30 centimeter resolution. It's high resolution imagery, but of course, then it will be costlier for our clients to use this data. Machinery data, we have some automated integrations, for example, with John Deere. John Deere is one of the biggest machinery company in the world, agriculture machinery. They have My John Deere Operation Center platform portal where almost all of their clients use their data. And in GeoPard, you can sign in and using OAuth protocol to connect your My John Deere Operation Center account into GeoPard, and in automated manner grab all your data for further analytics. For example, you can grab as applied data layers, as prescribed RX maps, and compare them one-to-one, calculate difference, calculate what was wrong really with application. Or you can also, they started to sell this year grain sensing tools, starting to measure oil content, protein content in grain. It's properties which are available together with yield files, with harvesting files, and GeoPard also grabs this data and can calculate various analytical derivatives based on which you can improve your next year fertilization applications. And GeoPard works, first of all, as data aggregator, normalizator of all the data layers. You have all the data, we clean it for you. Of course, there are some edge use cases where it's very, very tough to clean yield data. For example, for half of field, we do not have any data. And even for this corner cases, edge cases, we have some smart models that we can extrapolate, for example, yield data. And if even on half of your field, you do not have yield data, we can extrapolate it using historical field productivity maps. Because in GeoPard, our idea is really to provide very automated, smart tool for modern growers, modern farmers, and agronomists, precision agriculture specialists. We really do not differentiate. We have as a client some, I call them nerdy farmers. I hope that it's okay to call them like this, but in reality, not all the farmers have enough time to go deep into data sets, but some of them love to do that, and we're happy to work with them. But of course, most of our clients at the moment are precision agriculture specialists, and sometimes it is GIS specialists, geoinformation system specialists that work in different agribusiness corporates or machinery corporates or big agri holdings. And in GeoPard, all these analytical derivatives are available, and then they are available in our system, web-based and mobile-based applications. And also they're available via API. And we use for API very advanced and smart technology called GraphQL. It was released by Facebook about 10 years ago. And it is very smart. Why? Because in GeoPard, you don't need to ask us to develop some new endpoints for your precision ag or smart farming solution. If you want, for example, to create new maps based on your own logic, based on your own equation formula, you can just send this information to GeoPard. GeoPard will calculate all this for you and send this data back. It's all work in very asynchronous manner. We use all the modern technologies, and we are a certified partner of AWS. We're certified by security and scalability by AWS and have a great relationship to their team. And also with if you want to use analytical derivatives created in GeoPard, for example, prescription map for variable rate seeding based on multi-layer field potential maps, or based on your soil optics ground scanner, or based on Planet Labs imagery fused together with LiDAR topography data. Then you can create prescription maps directly into the system and send it to almost any machinery. We support as expert shape files, we support either bus, either XML standards, and also data could be sent directly to Margin Zero Operation Center. We also in our nearest plans to be connected to more systems from machinery providers via API. For example, CNH has their system, and some others like Trimble, AgLeader. It's all in our pipeline. We're constantly developing our software, and it will be available soon. Few fancy pictures about like field potential zones, 3D maps, which you can create directly in GeoPard. You can compare various data layers, upload soil data sets, visualize them. We automatically interpolate, cut outliers from your data layers, clean data, etc., etc. And we try to in general, our mission and strategy is to create white box, not black box, because, you know, sometimes you can find fancy index, for example, X index, and it's claimed as the best, I don't know, index created, but you don't know how it was created. What we try to provide that we provide you some automation, some templates which you could use, for example, multi-layer field potential maps using soil brightness, soil topography, multi-year average vegetation, which GeoPard automatically selects right imagery. But also it's possible always to adjust this, adjust for your particular needs, because you know your fields much better than us. Maybe in 10 years, in 5 years, it will be possible really that our system like GeoPard will know more about your fields. Maybe it will be even sooner, I don't know. But at the moment, we still see that we provide you a lot of automation. We help you really to automate creation of prescriptions, recommendations, but then you will need sometimes to tune it to adjust a little. I just quickly look at questions, answers, no new questions. And our strategy and vision is that we started to build very fundamental system. We started with processing of data layers, then visualization and analytics on top of data layers, multi-layer modeling, cross-layer modeling, which is like intersection of various data layers, and calculation of correlations between data layers. And now we are going into the topics of predictive modeling and prescriptive modeling. And we, as a company, as a team, we're now really ready to step into this. And it will be our biggest challenge for, at least for next year. We're going to build some prescriptive modeling models like detection of yield limiting factors, and also we'll build for big organizations handy user interface tools like business intelligence, and it will be possible to benchmark all your fields based on various parameters. For example, you configuring in GeoPard that you want to calculate nitrogen use efficiency or average pH for all your fields and sort them by nitrogen use efficiency, where yield average amount is bigger than X, then it will be totally possible to do in GeoPard. As you probably know, we have quite experienced team. We built solutions for precision agriculture since 2012. It was another startup. Then we're part of Bayer when we built Xarvio solution. We're first technical managers there, and now we're developing GeoPard. I will not go more in detail there. Maybe I will come back to the slides in the future. Then I would like to show you a few real-world use cases, how GeoPard could be used. And if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, I'm just looking at my phone, but yeah, no additional questions. Also on LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah. So here's we try also to we work not only with commercial companies but with research companies, and we're happy to work. For example, Professor of Agriculture Lucas Amaral from Brazilian Universidade Estadual de Campinas. He used GeoPard for some of his research works, and he does a great job. You can follow him on Instagram, and I really enjoy how Southern America industry likes these new technologies. For example, just precision agriculture post, right? But you can have like 500 likes. He can have, I cannot have. Here's an example of maps Lucas created in the system that you can see and create, for example. So the topography maps, on top of them, you have, I'm bad at Portuguese, but probably it is EC data. Okay, it's electrical magnetic EC data from EM38 and overlaid on topography. And you can see how slopes in this case really correlate and micro relief how it influence on your EC data. Some other use cases which also were calculated in GeoPard by Lucas. It is a correlation of EC data, electrical conductivity, and yield data. Of course, each field is unique. In what we see is that we have seen, thousands, or maybe more than thousands of fields, analyze them in the past manually. Now we but with GeoPard we process them automatically. But each field is unique, and you have really various yield limiting factors. In many cases, they're unique. You need to run some kind of small data analytics, but of course, big data analytics is useful. That system like GeoPard could be your supporter and then can provide you some recommendations. And in the end, at a top level, maybe local agronomist or local service company or smart farmer can really use it for good. Here's an example of you have intersection of high yield values, low EC values, and vice versa. And it's a very, very interesting correlation, because really you can see that in this field you have like low EC really correlates with low yield, and I'm sorry, high EC correlates with low yield. Yeah. Another use case, also topography and yield, and you can see that on like low elevation zones, you have low yield for this concretely field. For other field, it could be really different, but in many cases we see that it works. Especially very interesting use cases are in Canada, where you have very slopey fields, and in some years, the same areas could have some water, and of course you will not have any vegetation or just small. And in other years, if it will be dry, it could be good quality yield spots. And this is very interesting, that it means that really each year is also unique, because you have various weather conditions. Soil profile doesn't change so quickly, but anyway, it's recommended to do new soil sampling, for example, every 2 years. And with tools like GeoPard, you can even make few hacks about it. For example, some of our clients, what they do every 4 years, very detailed soil sampling, for example, each half of an acre. And then every 2 years, they do soil sampling with lower spatial resolution, but then with GeoPard, they interpolate the results and have higher resolution maps. Also, some examples of how our field potential maps works. This is just one of field. Of course, in some cases it works better. In some cases it's not that accurate. But here's an example that you have very clear correlations. This yield data, this is GeoPard field potential map, which we calculate automatically without any access to field information. And oops, second, I'll quickly show you one more slide regarding GeoPard field potential maps. This is an index. We created our own unique index, which is like, we do not disclose how it works, not because it's our secret, it's some kind of secret, but also because the logic how it was calculated is very, very complex. We aggregated together with our clients a lot of yield data and tried to find the best indices which really reflects yield and correlates with yield. And we found that there's no such an index, but if you combine various indices based on various data layers, then you can find and have very good results that work in different regions for different fields. And you as a client, as a company, always have an option to adjust it a little bit. For example, you are not happy with what GeoPard calculated, then you go back into our software and configure and run it. as you wish, but we provide some tools which allow you to scale your business. If you're an agronomist, for example, you just upload field boundaries and we calculate maps like this in totally automated manner, and they look very often similar to yield data, and it is a basis for zonal soil sampling or even sometimes variable rate fertilization if there is no soil information, variable rate seeding, etc., etc. Yeah, I will quickly go to a field, to our user interface. So first of all, this is field profile page, right? This already when we went to a concrete field page, then you have historical information about average vegetation. This was calculated from 1988, Sentinel, Landsat information, and also some Planet Labs information if planet imagery was collected. Then there are several data layers. You can also order new planet imagery. You can create new analytical derivatives. All analytical derivatives are stored within your account under zones. And then you have access to all these data layers for visualization, for creation of prescription out of that, for creation, setting up of rates, adjusting zones. And also what is more important, that you have always an option to download data. It means that we do not try to lock anybody in the system. You always have an option to download all your data. For example, you have field boundaries, you have zones maps, you have some scouting points. You can download everything. We provide it in shapefile format, in GeoT format. You can download everything. So there's an interesting question: who owns GeoPard? So GeoPard was created by us. We're a relatively small team. There are at the moment 3 co-founders of GeoPard. We even at the moment don't have any external investments because we started to earn some money from the first day when we started the company. And yeah, now we are raising our first ever financial round. It is seed round. If you know any great investors in agtech industry, please let me know. I would be happy to chat with them. How much is the cost of soil analysis? Cost of soil analysis depends on your service provider, because we're a software company. We do not go into fields and we do not do soil sampling and soil analysis. With GeoPard, for you, like analytics of soil analysis, it is sense. Depending on your pricing plan, depending on your type of business, we provide a little bit different pricing models. We have one pricing model. It is similar to AWS based, like credits based. It means that the amount of computing resources of GeoPard you use, for example, you create a lot of analytics, then you are charged for that analytics. And for most of agribusinesses, and preferred business model for us is just charge per hectare or per acre per year subscription. Then it really depends on what is your business and how GeoPard is helpful for you. It's, I would say, varies from, depending on type of scale of a business, from $1 per acre to $2 or $3 per acre, or let's say €1 per hectare sometimes, if it is, for example, very large project, to several euro per hectare. Is the API? Yes, there's API, and I will show a little bit later. We have a GraphQL API, and also we have widgets that could be integrated into any website. Widgets, it's similar to how Google Maps are integrated into other websites. In GeoPard also there are widgets. Where your data pipelines analytics tools located: on-premise, cloud, AWS. They're located currently in our AWS accounts. and now we're exploring an option that starting probably from 2023, it will be possible also to buy from GeoPard on-premise solution. It means that we will make a copy of GeoPard backend, install it into AWS of our client, and then through AWS Marketplace, they will be charged. We're now exploring this option as well. So for us, it's totally fine to be just provider of this technology and not to possess. And currently, in our data policy, privacy policy, which you can find on our website, it's stated that owners of data are our clients. We are not owners of the data. We're just guys who help you to automate, to analyze all this data. And our business model is very straightforward. We do not have any hidden agenda. It means that we do not resell this data to, I don't know, any kind of companies. It's just your data. Sometimes we ask you, but usually it's just done via WhatsApp or email that could we please use your data sets for example, for testing of yield data prediction model, or could you please use your soil data sets for our new models that we're going to develop yield soil data prediction or something like that. We're seeing a lot of big Americas fields. Is there a reason for that? Why not European fields is not your target area? We work across areas. We work in Europe. We work in United States and Canada, South America, even Africa. There's no reason for that. I'm just showing some fields from our best clients or partners who also agreed to share this data with us. In this case, it is from Steve, and he has his great startup to measure soil moisture. If you're interested in that, let me know. I will get you connected. Founders. Landsat 8, 9. How are you accessing satellite imagery? Yes, we're using Landsat 8 and 9 as well, and we're using also Landsat 5 and what was after 5? 5 was 8. I'm sorry. We're accessing it through APIs from USGS. Is the platform available in Spanish? I'm sorry for that. I need a short break. Sorry, I was sick last week. Still have some code. We are available in 10 different languages, and I believe Spanish is one of them as well. Who are our main customers? We have as a customers ag machinery companies, ag input companies, precision agriculture specialists, farmers, agri consultants, even some food companies. We really provide flexible tools for the different use cases. I'm sorry, I need to take 30 seconds. Sorry for that. I'm good now. Let's continue. In which countries do you have most clients? Do you have auto detection of field boundaries, and how accurate is it? Thank you, Bruce, for the question. We have a model for auto detection of field boundaries, but it's not main business model for us. So we are really providing it just for some of our clients. It's quite accurate. It's on the same level as you can have from other providers. And we can discuss it in like one-on-one. But most of our clients, frankly speaking, they already have field boundaries. So that's why for us, there's no big reason. Of course, field boundaries are necessary when you do big regional projects or yield prediction, regional analytics. We are at the moment mostly focused on farm level, farm or big like agri-holding level, and most of our clients already have field boundaries. And I will show you a few examples of what we have here. For example, we have, it's possible to upload various data layers. In this case, we uploaded, let's say, protein moisture data set. And you can see this data set as a, in raw data, you have legend, you can switch to 3D mode. 3D mode, we take this data set from providers of 3D data, yeah, and then you can see really like a real 3D map view. Play a little bit with that, and then it's not that easy to understand where you have high and low values, but what we do is, and you see already also you have some skips, and then we do processing of this data layer. It's our algorithms were applied, and for example, protein data set also was uploaded here that you can see levels of protein for this grain harvesting data. Then you have access. For example, soil data was uploaded by a client, and you have uploaded various soil attributes like pH and others. And if you click on process, that was what GeoPard automatically did, is some rasterization picture, and then you can go and create management zones out of that. And management zones creation is a very big story for us. We're really picky guys about creation of management zones. You can create management zones based on many various rules, like single layer, multi-layer, even equation-based analytics. And equation-based analytics is very, very big topic for us here. For example, we created equations based on University of North Dakota about pH. You have target pH, you have buffer pH. In this file, buffer pH was calculated, and then lime rate recommendations for this concrete field. And you can create it in real time by yourself. You can use some equations and some templates from GeoPard. Also, if you're part of big organization, for example, you're an ag input company and you want to create recommendations for all your clients for usage of your fertilizer or your seeds, then you can create equations only for your accounts within the organization. It will not be shared externally. We have some per default templates. Mostly we take it from various research organizations like Cree State University, Iowa State University, etc., some Europeans as well. But more that you have here freedom really to create your own formulas. For example, you have this, right? Recommendation based on Iowa State University, and you can adjust it. Here, it is Python language. It means that you can embed any logic, if else. You can use even logarithms, exponents, etc. Any mathematician algorithm here. In future, also it will be possible to use even some machine learning models here, but currently we do not have it. Map it to various data layers. You can embed here more variables. For example, you want to create a formula, and there are some formulas like nitrogen use efficiency calculation or ROI maps calculation, where you can embed into one formula your yield, grain price, yield from yield data, grain price from current grain market, minus variable rate fertilization file multiplied by cost of fertilizer, minus all your crop protection costs, and then you have ROI map for each square meter of your field. So I go on next. I will show you a quick example how we work with some agribusinesses. An example of this publicly available use case, how we work with Cartella and the granular link. So we help them to automate creation of variable rate maps for granular link solutions. They have very smart solutions that help them to make their business more digital and go into story of precision agriculture, providing recommendations. And GeoPard acts here as a partner and provider of some analytics. And of course, if you work, for example, with Cartella with us, we do not disclose, we even help to understand like which logic is better to use, but we never disclose any of company secrets, and it always stays with the company. Another example I would like to show you quickly is that our great integration with MyJohn Operation Center. On this example, here's use case how we extend and enrich Operation Center. It means that currently in Operation Center, you do not have access to for example, to soil data, to topography data, to aerial imagery, and with GeoPard, it's possible to have more data layers in the Operation Center. What you need to do for that is first, in your Operation Center, you need to install GeoPard application, and then in GeoPard application, you need to connect GeoPard MyJohn account to your GeoPard account, and we have very handy tutorial for that you can help GeoPard.tech. It's open for everybody. You can see here how you can connect your MyJohn Operation Center account, and after that, you pull all the data, any data as applied data sets, as planted data sets. You create various analytical derivatives which GeoPard can provide for you. And some of them we can calculate automatically, mostly for B2B clients, and then you send them back as prescription files or as a map layers. Map layers mean that it is also possible to visually see and use them in field analyzer and create, for example, flags, prescription maps using this data. So in GeoPard, we have access and great tools how you can work with planet imagery. With planet imagery, it's very interesting. We have very automated data pipeline, how we grab planet data. And it's now possible for all our clients, not necessarily B2B clients, but independent farmers or agronomists to order 3-meter resolution plant imagery. Usually you have image every day or every other day. Here's a real example that you see, for example, image June 12, June 13, June 15. Usually it's every day or every other day. You, before you really pay for anything, you see in advance cloud shadows percentage, and after that you can order image, and then after image was ordered, you will be able to calculate various vegetation indices and even create prescription maps based on all the GeoPard indexes. And currently in the system, we have access to more than 16 vegetation indices. I'll very quickly show to you how it works. That single layer, if you do analysis based on satellite monitoring, And for example, here's planet imagery uploaded or some other, and you can see like average vegetation, for example, August 14. You see an infrared view, right? Here's an infrared view, and even GeoPard could be used for some regional level analytics. We do not have it as a separate product, but even in real time, you can recalculate various indices like soil brightness, video. It could be used, for example, for regional tracking of harvesting and some other tools. And here you can select, for example, relative moisture index, or you can select MTSARI or VDRVI green chlorophyll index. There are a lot of scientific research why you need to use one or another index. Practical suggestion, practical use case, please do not use NDVI. NDVI is really, really bad vegetation index. It has NDVI saturation, it has effects of bare soil, and it really will not provide you enough details and will not differentiate between plants of similar growth stage and similar vegetation. Other indices like chlorophyll indices are very good indices. VDRVI was invented by Carteva, I believe, and was open source with good index as well. Relative moisture indices, MTSARI, also advanced indices, and we use indices based on near-infrared and also based on red edge. That's also very important feature because there are a lot of scientific research that in some cases it's better to use red edge indices, in some cases better to use near-infrared indices. Depending on your use case, we can suggest you like what to use, but you have freedom to operate to use, for example, MTSARI index. And then you go next, you just select amount of zones. Usually it's used for prescription maps. For example, let's say we'll create 5 zones, natural breaks. It's type of geospatial classification of data. Natural breaks will create less standard deviation within zone and more difference in values between zones. It is what we use by default. Equal count will create zones of similar area, and equal interval, if you have, for example, 4 zones and you have values within your index from 0 to 100, it will split into 4 zones like 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. A little bit stupid in my opinion index, but it's okay. So you can use, for example, natural breaks and click. Once you clicked on this, GeoPard is very, very scalable system. Then our AWS workers, they do all this stuff, collect data, calculate indices, etc., etc. And then you will receive map. Then you can adjust, create zones, create rates. We have 15 minutes left. There are some questions. How accurate is soil moisture data? What is the resolution? So soil moisture, like relative soil moisture, we can calculate based on satellite imagery from, I believe, Sentinel only. From Planet, I'm not sure. If it is from Sentinel, then we have a raw spatial resolution 10 meters, but then GeoPard interpolates and creates then analytical derivatives of about 5 meters resolution. And here's a blog article about normalized difference moisture index. I'll quickly take a look here. NDMI water stress plans. And we can follow up on these questions. Any option for partnership, startup based in India? Sure, there are options, and options. There are several options, frankly speaking. One option that you can be our partner in terms of distributor or seller, and we have a partner program. You can just apply on our website, and we will see if you're good company, and we then do some kind of revenue share model, because we understand that it's not possible for us to be everywhere. We do very straightforward, like 25% commission to our partners. For other options, that it's possible that we can build white label solution for your system, and there are some use cases how we can do that. One of use cases is our great clients and partners from agri origin. We help them build white label solutions. They use GeoPard for recommendations for their clients of variable rate seed and fertilization, and they do a lot of great job use cases. And especially at this moment in Ukraine, they have full-scale war, but precision agriculture is still developing. It amazes me. And Slava Ukraini. So few more things. If there are any questions about blueberries, I would like to follow up on this. Unfortunately, your attendee is anonymous. We have some use cases on berries, but I do not have them right now with me in this presentation. How much my yield in average increase or my cost decrease when I'm working using your software? Average increase, cost decrease. Yeah, so this question is not only about our software, but in general, maybe there's a little bit more complex question, because just using of our software will only will not change a lot, because it's just software, right? And then it's needed to be somehow used in real life. For example, if you do variable rate fertilization, then it's one story. And here are some use cases that you do, for example, variable rate fertilizing using our software, and you save about 30% of nitrogen, and if you do variable rate phosphorus, etc. So it depends really on field. We have, of course, numbers. They vary. They vary on crop. They vary on type of operations used. If you use full cycle of precision agriculture, so it is really very interesting. I know some numbers about that, like, but there's no standard, but gains could be very high. And what is also very interesting, that with new topics of carbon farming, and for example, nitrogen use efficiency, you could be also in future like more subsidized. So with GeoPard, I would say that minimum, like, you would have something about $20 per acre, or like $10 per hectare. This is pure minimum, just if you do some crop scouting with our software. For plant imaging law, do you need to have a Planet subscription beforehand? You do not need to have Planet subscription. We act as a proxy between you and Planet. It means that we have several types of contracts with Planet, and our clients, they do not need to have a direct partnership with Planet. That we work as some kind of aggregator for this, and we can provide you just some amount of images for you without having any big contract with Planet. Which index has the strongest relationship with machine yield data? I would say the GeoPard Field Potential Index. It sounds a little bit, let's say, maybe ambitious, but it's relative. We checked a lot of indices, and we create GeoPard Field Potential Index. You feel free to use, for example, chlorophyll index. They also have very strong correlation to vegetation and yield. And also, it's very important the time when you pick images, and it's not that straightforward because for various crops you need to a little bit adjust this logic. Do you plan to extend to European team? Yes, we extending our European team as well. Please drop me a message afterwards with your details. Do you use any AI to do stand counts? Yes, that's a great topic. We are really still not into computer vision for agriculture. And we, for example, do not do stand counts calculation based on drone imagery. We are more just spatial analytics at the moment. In future, probably we will also develop some models, for example, to calculate stand count. But of course, even for this, we use a lot of AI for detection of clouds, shadows, smart detection for uh, calculation of, for example, outliers, etc. The use case for open field tomato? Yes, for open field tomato, we have use cases. Any solutions for tractors, especially fuel consumption and telematics? Yes, great question. So there are tools in GeoPard which we call as applied data analytics, as applied as planted data analytics. We support currently data from Snage, from Trimble, from John Deere, from almost any data provider. We have our own parsers for all the data, and you have access to all the data layers which are within your field. And for example, if you collect fuel consumption, you collect speed data, then they're available in GeoPard and they're also available for analytics. It means that we can calculate very interesting things, and I'll show you an example. We are trying to use it also in our new big model that we are going to release soon. Is we call sustainability or carbon model, where we will take into account various data layers from remote sensing and also from machines like tillage depths, fuel consumption, etc., and create our own unique sustainability index. We have just 5 minutes left. And also this could be used, for example, to see automatically parts of field where the driver was too quick to apply agronomic variable to do seeding, for example, or you can have more sophisticated model based on equation that will calculate, for example, usage of your engine plus take into account soil compaction data and fuel data and calculate, for example, zones of potential like higher compaction, lower compaction. It's also possible. Do you save 30% on nitrogen fertilizing? It depends on the field, Michael, but in general, I would say yes, depending on if you do variable rate or on-off, it's really different. Here's a very real use case from one of our clients saving on, sorry, it's about nitrogen. On nitrogen, similar numbers, yes, about 30%. Translate imagery with John Deere Operations Center. At the moment, we can send to Operations Center an analytical derivatives from GeoPard. Sending satellite imagery is the next feature. We're going to release it next month. It will be very soon available. We have an example of management zones, fertilizer to show, or expert is available there. Yes, we have. Takes into account contribution of pesticides. Yes. Short answer, yes. Can I use it in other cases too? Yes, Nicole. Nicole, there are no rules how you can use GeoPard. Let's say it's free for all. We provide tools, and you can create your own equations, and you can use your pixel-based calculations for other cases. And I would be happy if you can share with us some of this information regarding zones. Yeah, so it was a model we calculated. based on just one vegetation index, and then we can go next. We can go to page of assigning of rates, and here that we can say that, okay, for example, this will be used for fertilization. We can see, okay, it's too ugly in my opinion. Why do we have so many zones? Let's merge some zones, and let's say that this zone also will be white. In this case, it's close to white, right? And also we can, for example, split some polygons, or we can merge some other zones like zone this and this, for example, entire zones or separate polygons. If I do not click here. Yeah. Okay. It made it even worse. And here you can set rates. With B2B clients, we also can agree on some model of how we create these rates. For example, we load catalog of your products and automatically set rates. Just for regular client of GeoPard, you can use this, for example, you said that, okay, it's nitrogen, and you start with some numbers. We have also here a simple calculator. It is relatively simple, but you can put price of your cost and calculate some costs. Also, if you have isobase XML, it's possible to create several products. Even with shapefiles, it's possible. You just finish it, you save, and you go to export. And export, you can do shapefile directly to Operation Center, Margin Operation Center. Shapefile is multi-polygon, shapefile is polygons, and download as ISXML, or you can export only rates regarding various data types of in which format to upload. We have page called GeoPard data compatibility, and you can see like which monitors support which data formats. This export of data from GeoPard, import data to GeoPard. We already support precision planting, and we even have also integration with climate field view through Migrant Zero to GeoPard. It works as well. We just had not enough time to document everything, and it will be available on our website as well. We have, our time is over. Experimental design, yield analysis. Yes, for yield analysis, we have some tools. We called it yield analytics. They're not like you can use various tools for yield analytics. GeoPard was developed not for field trial management, but we have some clients who do field trial management with GeoPard. For example, here's an example with yield data, how our smart models automatically clean yield data and remove outliers data when where harvester makes pivot. You can also integrate yield data and create multi-year yield maps. You can also integrate this data, for example, with topography, other data layers. And also we're calculating average yield per zone, total per field, and average yield per field. And of course, some intersections and creation of prescription maps out of yield file is available as well. Benchmarks, more benchmarks will come together with new model, which we currently do not have. It's BI tool, business intelligence. We will make announcement when it will be. As a high resolution imagery in GeoPard, we have already agreement with Up42, and you probably have seen this announcement that Up42 geospatial marketplace, and we use Pleiades Neo, and doing some calculations based on this imagery. Then soon it will be also available in GeoPard. It means that high resolution Pleiades information will be there. Alexander, thanks for webinar. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, everybody. We still have many topics not covered for next sessions. I will share a recording of the session with all of you. Thank you very much. And in future, I will invite you to the next sessions. Maybe some will be conducted from more technical guys from our team. Some will be conducted from more agronomic perspective. And also we plan to invite some of our clients or partners and do webinars about usage of, not necessarily of GeoPard, we're in general interested to develop more conversations about precision agriculture, educational as well. Thank you all very much and have a great day. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.